Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. Welcome if you're new, welcome back if you're returning. That was quick. So, our, our topic for today, love this. You are giving too many fucks. Give zero. And you know, I did a video not too long ago on how to moderate your fuck distribution. Because truly, we do give fucks about things that just don't matter. And each one of those that we give is our energy. So, a lot of what we do give our energy to isn't really important to us. It's important to someone else, or we feel like it's important for acceptance. Like I had mentioned last week that, y'all, I apologize, but you're going to have to deal with me for a little bit because right now I do not have a fuck to give about putting on makeup. It's not there. It's not there. We've had so much going on that right now my standard of appearance is clean and not naked. Literally. If I'm clean and not naked, I consider that acceptable at this point. Only because things have been so crazy. And sometimes life gets like that. We have too much going on to give our energy to the, lipstick, if you will, like the final touches, the fine details. Because sometimes there are stages of life, there are periods of time where the things that are a priority have to be a priority. The things that are optional just have to be set aside for a while because we only have so much energy to give. I have kind of an awkward setup right here, so bear with me, I'll probably fidget a lot. But when we set priorities, it's based on, like, what's on fire, what needs my attention. And if by the time you address that, you don't have the energy left for socializing or for worrying about your appearance, then you know what? Clean and not naked are socially acceptable. They really are. The rest of it is basically just marketing playing on our insecurities of how we should look like supermodels, and that would be great because if you're a supermodel, part of your job is to work out, put on makeup, and look nice. Well, I'm not a supermodel, so I don't have that scheduled out in my day. I have a lot of things that need to be addressed as far as like accomplishing tasks, taking care of others, taking care of myself. And at the end of the day, if I don't have time for the rest, well, that's okay. I got the important stuff done, right? So maybe look at the areas in your life that you give importance to. I'd also, I talked about that a while back in another video where when you're looking at a job and how much compensation you get for what you invest in your job, really look at if they require you to have a certain appearance at work. That's part of what you need to take into account because you're not on the clock yet and you've got to spend an hour trying to look nice before you get there. Okay, that requires compensation for me. If I'm investing my energy before I even get there, I need that to be reflected in my pay rate because that takes effort. So when I was in management, that was one of the things that I took into account is one, how much time am I going to have to take to get ready? How much money am I going to have to invest in the wardrobe that I'm required to wear there? How much time is it going to take me to drive there every day? Because that's my time, that's my energy. Time, money, effort, that's all energy, and it's an exchange. So if you're going to ask me to spend money on clothes, get ready in the morning to where I have to have a very polished and presentable appearance, that needs to be reflected in my pay. Because it's an exchange. That's what you're asking of me. That's what I'm investing. What do I get in return? And that's why the older I've gotten, the more I realized that a lot of the things that I was giving fucks about they didn't deserve it because I was getting nothing in return. Um, and I think that's why as we get older, we really start to evaluate our boundaries because we've gone through enough life situations where we've invested and had nothing in return. Okay, so I need to readjust my boundaries in that area. Uh, Especially if, like in a relationship, if we overinvest in a relationship, it actually causes our brain to give more value to the relationship, even if we're not getting the same in return, because we feel like we've invested this much, so it has value. No. Would you look at a financial investment that way? Well, I've given this much to the bank, so it must be valuable. You're getting 0.3% interest on that. Maybe that's not where you should be investing. There are better options out there. And it's hard if we don't separate from our emotions when we start to evaluate situations, because our emotions can kind of blind us to whether or not it's actually a good investment, whether it be a job or a relationship or even, how much effort we put into our appearance. When we start to realize deep down that we actually have innate value for what we bring to the table from inside, not outside. And I encourage people when they're thinking about improving themselves, don't do it on a surface level. Because if you are, well, you know what, here's a good analogy, and maybe it's just me. Have you ever seen those like at Easter, they've got the Easter bunnies that are all wrapped in gold, and they've got a ribbon on them, and they look so pretty. And then you think, wow, that'll be great. And you get it home and it's hollow. It's hollow. I'm a little frustrated. If my chocolate is full of air, I want all chocolate. Do not give me a surface level thing that looks pretty, that makes me think I'm getting something of great value, and that shit's hollow. Do you remember as a kid, you get that big old Easter bunny and you bite into it and you realize that it's mostly air? And the chocolate's that thick. That's why when you want to improve yourself, start inside. Substance. Don't just be the hollow bunny that looks nice on the outside with nothing to offer inside, because unfortunately our society tends to reward appearances. And so many people, from my own experience, want to give off a certain appearance, so they keep themselves up to their neck in debt. They're stressed out about money so that they can get a bunch of material things that from the outside make them look wealthy or project whatever image that it is that they want to be perceived as. Why? Why would you do that? One, most people are too concerned about their own image to be paying any attention to what you're doing. And two, when you actually create value within yourself and you know that your skills, your ability, your heart, your talents, your gifts, that's where the substance is. It's inside. If you're the hollow Easter bunny, start working on filling up that hole in there, because anything is better than air. I mean, if the Easter bunny had like cream filling, great, I've got a giant truffle. But no, it's thin-ass chocolate full of air. That's disappointing. Have you ever met that person that from the outside, for first appearance, initial impression is like, wow. And then you talk to them and you think, oh my gosh, air, full of air. Or possibly worse, but we'll stick with air. So, just saying, how many fucks do we give over things that lack substance? Why are we wasting our energy? Invest your fucks, invest your energy in things that have substance. whether it be your own efforts at improving yourself, or because what you'll find is that if you start inner work, the outer stuff comes in. It works itself out. It's like a Rubik's Cube. And I've said that before. If you're focused on one thing, like the one side, you're trying to get all the yellow together. The other areas start coming together at the same time. And when you work on internal healing, internal growth, other areas of your life fall in place. You look better because you're happier, you're healthier. Your emotional well-being shines out through you. And then your weight, because you're not eating out of emotion or frustration or trying to get endorphin hits so that you feel better, because you already feel better because you're healing the things inside. Your relationship with food improves. So the outside stuff takes care of itself. When you actually create financial stability and you know that you have wealth, you're not concerned about throwing it out there because you already know. So you already feel more abundant, more stable, and you're not trying to prove it to anybody because you know. It's the same with your self-worth. I know what I bring to the table. And if I don't put on lipstick, that does not detract from my value. But when we're caught up in societal standards, then we feel like, oh my gosh, I can't leave the house right now. I didn't even do my makeup. So, think about where you give your energy. What things you label as important. Are they truly important? Do they add value to your life? Do the people that you're giving your energy to add value to your life? What is your return on investment? Because where you get return on investment, that's where you need to give your bucks. If you're not getting a return on your investment, give zero. And it's the best way to make sure that at the end of the day, you haven't just wasted your energy on things that don't matter. Give energy to things that give back to you. And I'm not sure, really seem to be getting on a roll this week, so thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this helps. I'm going to try and respect your time and keep it a little brief. I will talk to you soon.